Uh-oh. Got some unfun stuff to do. But if you join me, nice. Means you have a high tolerance for pain. I'll be back in here testing the string parser and the AST. And it has a bug. This is being parsed from token val. And yeah, let's go ahead and run that. So let's take a look and make an example for the situation that's not working so I can be sure to catch it. Token val is the node type that's not parsing correctly. The strange thing is it actually does parse a string like this. This works. But for some reason it does not parse when it is combined with something else. I even had reserved here. These are token ID. Maybe I opened the wrong thing. Oh. Well, that says a lot. Looks like I may not have even tested it. Let's take a look at what token def is about. Rune, compound. Yep, this did it. It appears that my token val test is not even accurate. It's testing token ID. Oh no, it's not. It is. It's testing token ID. There it is. Token reserved. But I suppose we can add a couple more of these. We don't have any compounds here because I felt like the definition covered it actually. And I'm going to put this one here. Token val. Let's do string rune and string. And let's do that. So we have, let's say we have a U, and then I don't know. Let's do, how about this? Let's do a string first. Let's say U plus, and then we have, well, that is a string. So how about we do a string and then a token ID. Let's try that. So if I have a token ID after that, like a CR, I mean, that doesn't make any sense, but let's just test that. So that gave us a string, but it did not give us the thing after it. And that's bad. Actually, that's a fail. Let's try something different. Let's actually put something. I'm going to combine a plain rune, a plain token. So I gave us token ID mine and it skipped it. Did not do anything beyond that, which is a problem. Actually, no, it's not. That is exactly what we wanted to do. The multiplicity of that is being done in the token definition, which is what needs to be looked at. Okay. But I thought we had that covered, so let's try that. Token def has the multiple things in here. Here we have a compound that has a string. Actually, this is just two IDs. Let's try this with, if I combine this with a string, that would be, actually, that would be exactly the situation here. Uh-oh, I have a visitor. Give me a second. I'm gonna pause my my stream. Wait, I'm not streaming, or am I streaming? Am I streaming or am I not streaming? You tell me. Give me a sec. Paddleboard has a home. How nice. Subscribe to Tier 1. They've subscribed for 2 months. Haha, that's that. Wait, did somebody just subscribe just now? They can subscribe. I mean, I appreciate you guys subscribing, but okay, you're like really you got renewed. Oh my god, really, Dusty? That is so lame. Man, I appreciate it, but I don't even see the money. You're just giving Twitch all that money. You know what? Write to support. Support got back with me really fast. You should write to support and say, listen, guys, he's not even an affiliate anymore. How can I subscribe? Give me my money back. Seriously, they're like totally busted. Yeah. This is it's so broken. You know what? They're not designed to allow people to drop their affiliate. They want people to take advantage of them. It's like, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know what? They don't have a problem taking your money. You know, I have a problem like doing the unethical thing by taking your money and you know, and when I'm violating the rules, but Twitch doesn't. Twitch doesn't give a shit. Further evidence that they're fucking evil. Bye-bye Twitch. I mean, seriously, that is like so wrong. If you really have to write to them and say, you just charged me money for something that I am not subscribed to. And like, oh, we're so sorry. We need to fix that. You watch. If you don't, I want to report back. I want to report back because if it doesn't happen, I'm writing to them, and then I'm going to make a big fucking deal out of it. I'll make a YouTube video just for that and make it blow up. All right, yeah, no, don't do this today. But seriously, this is kind of a case study for me because I want to be able to provide. Should you be cleaning? I should be cleaning, Greg. I can't. It's insane. It's insane. I did do some. This error is driving me nuts, so I have to fix it. And then I'm going to be packing and cleaning and packing and cleaning. I need a break. Okay, so and we sell them we're giving paddleboards away at this point. Yep, we just gave a bark, 12-inch bar, 12-foot bark. It's a $2,500 paddleboard. It's got sun damage. We just said, fuck it, let's just give it away. So yeah, I know it's crazy. So we need a compound that's got a string in it. I'm gonna do this. Strange. U plus strange. How about that? Compound. We'll change this to compound string. And see, that worked. So what is the deal? Let's see. That should... I am like at a loss, people. I want this thing done so bad, it's driving me nuts. I'm gonna tell you, when this is done, it's gonna feel like everything's downhill after this. I swear to God. What did I do? Did I totally just bust my thing? I did. I'm like not with it today. Yep, I'm not even saving you. And yeah. Let's see. God damn it. Seriously, I can't operate a computer today. I should not be allowed to operate a computer right now. How the fuck did that get saved? Oh, because I'm in a different thing now. That's right. That's what's going on. Now I feel better. Set pace, Rob. This is always a bad time to do anything, people. You know that, right? I have a macro for this, but I don't remember what it is. I have a permanent one, but I have to redo it. Do 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 do. God damn it. I'm not an exciting person to watch when I'm debugging shit I don't like. It's true. It is so very true. For anyone, this is what skill levels. Hi, Hanski Design. What experience have you done? You're really teaching. What experience should one have before? No experience whatsoever. If you're one of the many who has written to me recently that I have not gotten back to, many being like 2 or 3, I apologize. I'm in the middle of this move, and then I want to start having interviews again. Yeah, I actually have 3 openings right now. So one of them's tonight at 7, and there's really zero background. I've taken people from 9, and now they're, you know, like I don't know. I don't think it was 9. I think it was 12 or 13. I've dealt with I've dealt with adults who have, you know, advanced skills. Mostly, I'm just here as a facilitator. So yeah, you know my strengths and weaknesses are on stream all the time. You can read my LinkedIn. Yeah, and that's a thing. We just had a girl sign up who speaks French and Farsi and all kinds of stuff. She's amazing. Yeah, in fact, I need to send her that invoice. I just remember some things I need to do. But yeah, the way it goes, in case that's interesting to anyone, since that's the primary way I make my money to support my streaming, is I meet with you and we just talk and make sure it's a good match, and then you try one for 16 weeks and just go week to say block to block. I've decided to only charge the whatever the going international rate is for piano lessons. I'm for math tutoring, because I can't underprice myself, but at the same time, I had one guy he's not a venture capitalist, he's a finance guy, and his son was here. His son got a job here, actually. He's over at Coin now, and he was here forever. He was here for 5 years, and he's working in software at 18 now. No, he's doing SRE stuff now. I think about it. Anyway, but yeah, his dad once told me I had an interview with him because we were talking about finance and maybe taking the company to franchise and blah blah blah. And that was when I really realized that he actually looked at me and he goes, "Why do you want a franchise?" I say, "Well, I just figured I could touch more people's lives that way. I could reach out to more people." It really wasn't anything about the money. It legitimately was I wanted to get to more people. And then of course I found out about streaming, and he says, you should just charge double. People will pay it. And I was like, yeah, but then only a certain type of person could sign up. It's bad enough that I can't sign up people who don't live on American wages, and when over half of the world's population still doesn't have internet access, it's like it's bad enough being American and having to charge a certain rate. I'll be damned if I'm going to charge what I could get. If I could make $250,000 a year if I wanted, I know I could, but I don't. I've been offered that, but I can't get behind that. Anyway, I don't want to be a part of the oligarchy. Let's just put it that way. I would rather enable people at other levels, however I can do that. And hopefully I'll have after we move and everything, I'll have a little bit more headspace to put some time into those things and and to do to do other things, which means I that are all part of the quote unquote movement. Part of my sort of not so evil plan to rule the world, right? That's kind of what it is. This is kind of a joke we've had since with the TAs for a long time. It's like the best way to rule the world is to share knowledge and teach people and help them learn, because when they learn how to learn, they change their own stars. That's a quote from Knight's Tale. I love that movie. I'm so sad that Heath Ledger is gone. It was such a great, change their stars. That's just such a great, fun movie. And I want to help people change their own stars. Change professions. Yeah, that is, reskilling and upskilling. I've done that with a lot of people. Yeah, I upskilled a guy into InfluxDB. Sean, you out there? He's probably so busy he hasn't chimed in very much. He's so funny. Yeah, he got a psychology degree, and I mean it's not doxing him to say that he upskilled himself into an internship with Influx, and he was the leader. In fact, the quote on my website is from the people that hired him, and they specifically said he was up against people from the best universities, and he was right there with them. And this is a guy who paid like a fraction of the cost of a higher ed degree and got it in 2 years, and now he was right in there with him. Everybody's like, teach us Tmux, teach us Linux. Yeah, I was like, I told you. It was tough too, because when he was first here, because he's older, when he was first here, he was like, he was just having faith. I was like, what's this Linux thing? Because it's not mainstream. I mean, let's just be real. Learning Linux and terminal command line with VI is not mainstream. You go to any college, and actually you have a better chance of learning it in college than you do anywhere else. But anyway, it's really satisfying, because he's doing fantastic over there. And he was so annoyed. He was happy. He dealt with it. He grumbled a little bit when they sent him a Mac and said, you have to use this. He's like, but what about my i3 on Manjaro? And he and I used to always give each other a hard time, because he loves Manjaro. In fact, he told me about Manjaro, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And then it blew up all my lab machines. Yeah. Yes, I know. Anyway, so the not so evil plan to rule the world is to finance what I'm doing here through mentoring. I'm looking for contract work as a full-time job so we can buy a house. You can't buy a house without a full-time job. It's just practically impossible. And in America anyway, it sucks, but whatever. And then a bunch of swag. So I've got thousands of t-shirts that I need to sell that were part of our other business. And I've got a bunch of other t-shirts that I've designed that we've designed actually on stream. A couple of them we did sign on stream. Spaghetti Code Kills. We found the code that literally killed people in Toyota Camrys with sticky accelerators, and we're going to put that on a t-shirt. And so I plan on like selling a bunch of really cool t-shirts that will maybe spread the love, the RWX kind of thing, and then that can like spread the message. And I don't ever plan on monetizing my videos for YouTube. That's just not a thing I'm ever going to do. So because I at least there I can choose not to force you to see a video, and they'll still give them to you anyway. But on Twitch you don't have a choice; they're always going to give them to you. Another reason to restream to multiple platforms, and then people can hopefully pick up on it and do that. And so anyway, a little bit of a distraction. I am kind of in a ponderous mood this afternoon, mostly because I'm debugging shit that should always work, and that's always makes me angry. This should work, people. This should work, and it is not working, and I am super bummed that it's not working. So let's try something else. Let's try, I don't know why. Why is this not working? I mean, it got the string just like it's supposed to. How about a string by itself? No, we did it. String by itself is right there. Oh, wait. No. That's totally fine. It's fine. Yeah. So this compound one doesn't work either. It's like this is really weird because those tests are working. So lest I be accused of not doing proper testing, which would not be unusual, but still, in this case, I did the fucking testing and it's not working. It's just not working. I wonder if it's because it's a reserve token. Is it because I'm iterating improperly? Maybe that's what it is. No, I'm pretty sure it's because there's no string at all. See, look at this. See, we don't have anything with a string. All the stuff that comes at the end is getting chopped. So I wonder why that is. That's all I'm wondering right here, people. Why are all these strings being ignored down here? And they shouldn't be. These should all be just fine. I think it might be because they don't have comma end lines at the end. I think my spacing is off. I bet you anything. Watch what happens if I add a space. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, I know exactly. Oh my God. Please don't tell me that's what it is. Damn it. I know exactly the reason. You see these here? Those are the problem. So, you cannot have one of these in your ASCII code, and I might need to put that in the spec. So, an any, I'm actually in violation. I'm in violation of my own thing. Yep, that's what it is. Oh, I feel better. See this here? So this says you can have any character in a comment except for U plus FFFD. And the reason for that is because U plus FFFD signifies end of file. So this is something my parser does in order to signal that it's done and still allow it to parse the last character and be on a character. So it has this sort of pseudo end of file thing going on. So my parser happily did what it doesn't have a bug. What? Oh my God, it doesn't have a bug. It did exactly what I told it to. Happy day. That is always a happy day. I was kind of bummed that I had failed. Every time I find a bug that I didn't catch, I feel like a failure. I know, because I did the testing. Not this bug, I know. Yeah, right, Greg. Yeah, come on, let me have a little bit of pleasure here. So yeah, this is not a bug. This is a feature. This is doing exactly what I told it to do. So when it encountered this character, the actual character, this unknown character, UFFD, which is not allowed by the spec as a comment, it happily did what it's supposed to do. And what did it do? It ended processing. It stopped processing it. So watch. If I get rid of it, this is why I have these defined as these, because I need to be that way. So now when I do my long form, I don't even have to change anything. It's going to work. I guarantee it's going to work right now. Guaranteed. Guarantee. I guarantee. Watch. AST long.json. And we'll go look at the AST long.json, and there they are. L arrow is there. And it's got a string in it, and it's all happy day. We have max Latin, we got max rune, and replace an unknown. So, it's always a great time when you learn that your testing actually did catch the situation. It was just such an esoteric situation that it was harder for me to see that it was doing what it was supposed to do. I like those errors. Those are the happy kind of errors. Happy little errors. So now I can save that. And I have to save this too. Okay, I'm going to do git status. So the error was, well, all right, if you must press me, there was indeed a bug. The bug was in the spec. It was in a comment in the spec. So the bug was not with the parser. So to be fair, It was a bug because obviously it didn't do what I expected. Damn it. I have to admit that. But it was a happy bug. How about that? Does that count? Oh, God, people. People start with P. P is for people. That's good enough for me. P is for people. Oh, people start with P. Do you write bugs? I definitely write bugs. Yeah, I write to bugs. We have correspondence regularly. Bugs and I. Yep. They send me love letters. Thank you so much for not fixing us so that we can come back another day, for not ending our lives. Yeah, we have an understanding, Bugs and I. Alrighty, here. What are we gonna do? What the fuck am I doing? I am committing this non-bug. Absolutely. How about this? Not a bug. How about that? The creator of New Insect Live. How about that? How's that for a bug? How about that? How's that for a commit message? Might as well enjoy life. These are all, I mean, you know, these are like little chapters, little episodes written for those who, you know, somebody's going to look at that though and they're going to be like, what do you mean it's not a bug? Like, shh. Okay. Git push. I'm just glad I didn't have to rebuild the PEGN thing and all that shit. And now I can try something new that I have not done before. Hey, you know what? You can go away. Goodbye. All right. And so yeah, so our spec here. Don't need that. Already fixed that. Okay, so what we got? Now I have got to fix the spec. Now I don't know how to do this. I do not believe a git pull is going to do it. I'm a little afraid of it because I don't want it to overwrite the other changes. I mean, to me, that seems like that would blow away everything, right? Someone knows Git better than me know what's going to happen when I do this. What? Oh, git pull. It says there's no changes. It's definitely, oh, wow. That apparently worked. That's good enough, I suppose. Git status. I could have done git fetch. There apparently is a git fetch. What's the difference between git fetch and git pull? I know not what the difference is. Please tell me I didn't blow. Okay, good. And since that's all new shit, I think we're good. Unexpected comma. That's a normal error. All right, so back to our generator tests. No, that's not it. Wait. Oh, it's all in here. We're still playing around in here. Gets tags and branches. Hey, local padre. Huh. Well, okay. So this was an experiment in lunacy. This is a lookup table. And so I thought I might be able to do a lookup table for conversion. And I may still be able to get away with that, but it's not going to take that form. In case you're wondering, so I'll get rid of this so you can see what's going on. But it was just kind of a fun experiment, which I am not going to pursue any further. I am going to do these, though. Why are you not happy? Oh, because of this. Objects and references from another repo. Yeah, but okay, so that's all right. I guess if I had done git fetch from the top level, fetch and integrate with another repo. I think the reason git pull worked is because I was in the spec directory. I think. I have no proof of that yet. Yeah, and I was afraid of git pull because I thought git pull would have. Fetch doesn't change your files. Right, but pull would have. But see, if I think if I had get pulled the whole thing, it would have tried to pull down all the, they would say there's no changes or anything. It may have pulled down this stuff. I mean, I'll have to do an experiment on that later to test that out, but not right now. Non-declaration statement outside function body. Yes, yes, indeed, this is true. There we go. Undefined code converters. We're not doing that. This is kind of a weird experiment, which I am no longer doing. This has to all be fixed. I'll just take these converters off and we'll just do sib.value, which you'll see is wrong, just to show you guys why it's wrong. So here it is wrong, right? So this is not Go code, but my strings are there. That's why I wanted to look. So my strings are there and my comments are there. The comments are fixed, which is all good. I mean, you got to imagine this showing up in Go code, but clearly I need to do a translation. So I need to do a few translation functions, and I don't know what form they're going to take. They may eventually take a lookup table, you know, and that's probably what I'll do with that. But right now, I'm just going to write the functions, and then I don't have to put them in line. I can write them, and then I can, in the init function of this code, I can assign them to values. You guys know what that is? So like, you know, the problem with that is that, yeah, I mean, we're going to need a lookup. We're going to need a lookup of some kind. So there's two ways. The reason you saw all those functions in there before is because that's what you have to do if you're going to use that method of definition. If you use init, you can actually assign them. But either way, I'm going to have to populate the array with the total number of constants so that, you know, we have that many. And then I can say, hey, you are this, you are that, you are this, and so. And each one of these will be translated into something else. So this idea of having a lookup table is apparently not new. So I'm thinking it's new because, you know, I'm not formally trained in computer science, but having building a symbol table and looking stuff up, particularly first class functions, is how you do compilation, apparently, and there's a method for it and everything. If anybody's out there who's got the training, I really am happy that I'm doing it this way, because I'm kind of doing it backwards. I'm kind of writing a compiler. This is a compiler. I mean, anybody make a mistake here. Generating code from an AST is literally the definition of a compiler. That is what a compiler does. And so just because I'm compiling written text, who cares, right? And in you know, other languages that are like binary compilation stuff, they actually, when they compile stuff together, they're making symbol tables, and then they're combining like actual functions that have been defined, and then all of that goes into a binary file that you know, it's essentially the same thing. It's just in a binary form. The difference is that my stuff is compiling. It's actually more of a transpiler. It's taking the AST and it's transpiling it into Go. The really cool thing about that is that transpiling into Rust or transpiling into any other language is just a matter of semantics and syntax. It's not even hard. So once you have that whole table and everything, now of course I'm not done with it. I'm still working on it because it's mostly, you know, there's a lot of work to do here, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that light has been, you know, has been shining there for a very long time, because the sun that shines the light on, you know, compiler design architecture has been around forever. It just so happens that I'm discovering it for the first time because I need it. That's how I discover things. I don't discover shit until I need it. And I'm later, I got to learn compiler theory. God damn it. I'll write my own language here. Better learn it. So it's actually got me wanting to, I'm seriously tempted to go into a traditional PhD program for computer science, but there's so much theory and geometric, you know, theoretical proofs and stuff like that. I fucking hate theory proofs. It's like I love calculus and I loved all of that, but the one thing I really hated in math was proving trigonometry. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. There's no structure to this. You know, you're trying to put structure where there isn't any. It's like, why can't I just say that? That's implied by the thing. It's like you have to state it in a certain way. I'm like, why? I know maybe I need to revisit it. Maybe I would value it more now. I mean, I aced all my calculus classes. It wasn't a problem. But what I didn't like is all the gibberty gook that people have to do to prove things. It's like PEG. I didn't read the theory part of the paper. You know what I'm talking about? So here you go. PDF. Let's see. What is it? Oh, whoops. PID. That's not a thing. Thank God. Yeah, so here's the PEG paper. Here's Brian Ford's PEG paper. This is what this is all coming from, in case you were wondering. Hey, look familiar, right? That's because I tried gibberty gook gook. So, but look at this, man. This is Brian Ford's original example, PEG. That's what he would prefer it be done as. How many actually use that? PegLeg does barely, and GoPeg does, but everything else is diverted really significantly from it, unnecessarily, I believe. But the thing, okay, so I read the paper. I'm like, okay, I got epsilon and all this shit. You know, I like the look of all that, but, and I mean, and then this, right? So here is the table of the actual, syntax for the grammar. You know, positive, negative, look behinds. You have your optionals, one or more, zero or more optionals. So this is all stuff. Grouping. So this is all stuff that's in PEG. I didn't do character classes. I did limited character classes. I defined what any character is instead of just leaving it wide open. I did literal strings, which is single. Those are incorrect because the PDF did it wrong. Those are primes, they're called, not backticks. They're primes. They're single quotations. So that's actually one of the reasons I made single quotes mandatory. It has to be SQ. You can't actually write it if it's included in the grammar. Anyway, and you have the prioritized choice sequence and all this. So this is all you fucking need. It's all you need. You know, and they over here they got it kind of breaks it down. So this is all like the explanation-y kind of stuff, right? And then you get your head around it and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then this. Look at this. So how many pages did you get that? So 1, 2, 3. So 3.5-ish pages, right? And then you have the formal definition, 3.0. Library, PEGN.dev. You can read about that. PEGN, PEGN, PEGN.dev is the website that talks all about it. And so anyway, if you go here, then it gets, okay, here's the proof, right? And then they do the thing like, oh, we have to express the proof in a non-prioritized choice grammar. So here he says down here, for example, in context-free grammars, this is how we draw it. We draw it like this. For example, the CFG rule is this, which doesn't make any fucking sense. And then you're reading a series of A, it indicates blah, 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 right? So this is one of those cases where they because this is the established way of communicating about grammars, they have to force their rules on you to represent it. So you have to represent it as a CFG if you want to get it to be covered. That's why I'm not going to get a degree. And this is why I'm talking about this. Because if I have to learn this shit and waste my time doing this, fuck that. Fuck it. I want to know practically how this thing works and why it works and what's the deal is. And that, by the way, is in the preface of Mastering Algorithms in C from Kyle Luda. That's in his book, because the dude is saving airplanes from crashing into each other using these things. And it's boots on the ground kind of shit. It's not this come up with some ridiculous, look at this. So then he has to they have to explain themselves as, he has to re-explain himself in terms of a different language. And then you get this, right? And I who has actually read this? I would bet you money that no one has even actually tested these theorems. Even among academia, they're like, oh, he did this shit to make it look official. So, okay, we'll let him speak at our conference in France. Yeah, nobody's reading this shit. No one gives a shit. They just want to see practical examples of how it's supposed to work and then why it works. But for some fucking reason, we have to add all of this on top of it in academia to make it matter. And I get when you need formality and stuff. It's just dirty kook. I just made up that word right there, by the way. And theorem 2, a comma x goes to n of the y, then y has the prefix of blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, let's make this as complicated as possible. The whole point is supposed to be specificity and, making sure that it's not misunderstood. You know when all that was covered? I'll tell you where it was, right here. This covers the whole fucking thing. You didn't need to do anything else in this paper. This covers it. That covers it. And yet, for some stupid reason, academia thinks that you have to put this shit on something to make it matter. And I can't. This is why I'm the anti-professor. Because I might be intrigued by the same things that professors are intrigued by. Somebody earlier today asked me to use SSF form to join your stuff, and it's apparently some approach to compilers that probably uses a symbol table, and it's probably something I invented for myself because I needed it the other day on my walk because I have a problem and I'm trying to fix it. And so all of these, like graph theory in general, I'm like, oh man, yeah, graph theory matters to me now because I care. This is the biggest problem with math in general. My wife found another thing on this, is that kids don't want to learn math, but now that they're learning that math relates to machine learning and machine learning relates to bots, that helps them, win Dota 2, all of a sudden they want to learn math. So, I just, this, it's, this is the set, this is the set of, or this is the union of, blah, blah. I understand what it is if I really spend time looking at it. If I dissect like one of these proofs, suppose that we have two grammars, blah, 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 then we have this. And the reason all of this exists, and Kyle explains this in his book, the reason this exists is because they have to theoretically predict how many resources are going to be taken, how much time something's going to be taken. And they also have to prove that you are not going to write an infinite loop that someone can crash. And so I guess I understand why this stuff has to happen. In fact, with PEG, they kind of punt on that. They're like, if it's what do they say? They have a word for this. Oh God. It's like, if it's used in, if you have there's some special word for when you can use a thing and you can trust the data set, and then there's another one where you don't know what the data set's going to be. So there are some theoretical proof here that says if I use an infinite look ahead, you can't write theoretical guarantees and stuff because there's no limit to how much data can go into the thing. And at what point does it trail off and does performance die and all that stuff? This is the language of the self-pattern logic, for love it or hate it. It really is. It is. And I love logic philosophers. I really do. I love decrypting logic in magazines and articles and blogs and stuff when I took my logic class. But yeah, is it Bertrand Russell? I didn't realize he was the one who wrote it. But I like dissecting logical arguments and saying, hey, this is the logic here. It's very Vulcan, right? It's like, but I particularly like it when it meant to, decomposing somebody's logic in their false logic in an article. That was a really fun exercise, and that's great because that's a very practical use of logical symbols and analysis and all that shit. But and I get why they have to do it, because they have it's algorithms. Algorithms are all logic. So to learn the language of algorithms, I guess you have to learn philosophical logic notation, and that's what this is. And this is the PhD level kind of shit you'd have to do. If I keep feeling the draw of, because I love education, I keep feeling the draw of the PhD level, computer science stuff. But then when I realize that I'm going to have to do a PhD paper of some kind at some point, this looks like this, and that, I'm not going to matter unless I have a CV that's 3 pages long with a bunch of useless shit and papers I put out that has no practical application, most of it, then I'm not interested anymore. I would rather make something that has practical application to the world today. I didn't realize Russell was the father of, I knew him from his atheism and other stuff like that, but I didn't know that about him. So thank you for that, Mac. You should not believe in something because it's practical, because it's true. Yeah, I know all about Russell from his beliefs about religion and atheism. That's how I know him, actually. Yeah, they group him with Harris and and Dawkins and all the others. When isn't he one of the 3 horsemen? I can't. Isn't he the third one? Dawkins and Harris are the first two. They call him the three horsemen of atheism or something. Is it? I know. Well, Bertrand died. That I knew, but I thought he was still grouped into the group. Anyway, so yeah, they're some of the most famous atheists / agnostics who've ever lived. And Dawkins, I know Dawkins and Harris are two of them. There's another one though. I forget his name. I don't think it's I don't think it's the you know what my son was telling me, my stepson was telling me that Dawkins invented the word meme. Yeah, there's a video on that. He invented it. I thought that was cool. So anyway, my little rant about academia. You know, do I ever have any hope of ever being accepted into academia after ranting on it so hard? Probably not. Does it mean I don't value what they study? Definitely not. I think some of the topics they study are phenomenal. I just wish I could get access to studying those topics so I have to do all this shit. And frankly, you can. Daniel Dennett, yes. Yeah. Yep, Dennett, I think that's the one. I think, isn't he the leader of the skeptics? What's the skeptics group? I forget it. I can't remember. Daniel Dennett. Yeah, I haven't done a lot with Dennett. I know who I'm pretty sure he was in on the Question of God panel. There was a Jungian on the panel, and it was really, really interesting. Yeah. I mean, look, I appreciate the minds that are involved with academia. It's just I don't like having to play in the club by their rules. I don't like doing that anywhere. And if that means having to speak, you know, I absolutely fucking hate bombastic rhetoric. I hate it because it's the antithesis of learning, to overly state something so that you sound big. And it has destroyed so many things in our world because people just can't fucking speak plainly, and they can say fuck, you know. They can choose fewer adjectives, but who cares? You know, if the ideas are sound, where they come from. And I just wish that the keepers of some of the greatest knowledge in the world didn't, you know, keep people out of their club for being practical. It's actually a swear word to call someone practical in those circles. I read that in the Innovators. In the 30s and 40s, if someone called you practical, it was literally like slapping you across the face with a leather glove. It was like, oh, you did not. And so, and you know, that had different meaning, by the way, Mac. I know you've talked about, you know, teaching theory in schools in Denmark versus, you know, pairing you up with somebody who had actual skill. So yeah, I fixed my bug, so I'm just kind of going off on the rails here, off of the rails. Termine, yeah, the selfish gene. Yep, that I didn't remember where it was, but I remember he talks about it. There's a little video of him talking about it. He's explaining it to a bunch of freshmen in college. He's such a pretentious asshole. I love him, but my God, is the dude pretentious. He's like, he tries to be folksy, but you know, it just no. Your own route is scary, difficult, and painful, but it's much more fulfilling. I agree, and that's the path of the autodidact. That's the path that Socrates followed and promoted, and encouraged people. That's that's the path that Da Vinci followed. It's the path that the greatest thinkers, I believe, in the world have followed. They're like, some of them to great detriment of the world. Kaczynski, oh my God, brilliant, fucking brilliant dude. Also terrifying, you know, because he's following his own way. You know, it's like they're just, I don't know, the human mind and, you know, the ability to learn are just really, really fascinating to me. And I just feel like computers are just the best tools for doing that. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, look at how many more pages there are here, you know, and you have to give everybody credit. Like, hey, I got this idea from so-and-so, and I got this idea from so-and-so. You know, linear time. I guess people have to think about, well, how long would it take to do this thing versus benchmarking something? You know, the video, what is it? I forget. Oh God, it's one of my favorites. The particle accelerator thing documentary. It's one of the best documentaries ever made. Particle fever. Particle fever it really, really shows this well. So particle fever, the entire documentary is being told by two camps: the theoretical physicists and the practical physicists. And the the practical physicist chick, who's like, she's so cool. She's like, she's been chosen to explain shit to people. The theoretical guy is also explaining things, and he does a pretty good job of boiling it down. But she's so much better. She's like, what's going on? What is a particle accelerator? And she goes, she explains, there's this one scene, she goes, you take two things and you smash them together and it produces a lot of stuff. And then you look at that stuff. And that's her explanation of what a particle collider is. I was like, and it's like, she's like, pedaling her bike. Yeah. Engineers or astronomers. Yeah. So she's like pedaling her bike into the largest machine ever created by humans. Those are her words too. Hand soldered microelectronics, 15 stories of it, like 200 meters underground. And she's going through and she goes, yeah, she's got her, steel toe boots on, and she's got her hard hat on, and she got her goggles on, meanwhile, they show some of the other theoretical guys and they're like sucking down chalk dust all day, because that's all they do is sit in a room and write up mathematical theorems and stuff. And, you need them both. You really do need them both. But I tell you, I'm the guy who's probably going to lose a finger, blowing his finger off trying to figure out how the physics stuff works. He goes, oh, that's how it works. That's just me. I get my brain. Maybe my brain's not big enough for theory. And I imagine that's why people who get into theory look down on practical people, because practical people are kind of seen as people who need to see things in order to understand them. And I don't think that makes you a lesser of a human being. It's just the way you understand it. And that's, if you haven't watched the stream for very long, that is exactly how I learn. I am like, oh, okay, now I get why that works. And I'm breaking this thing, and oh, that has a name. I didn't know that, And so I'm very practical. And yeah, does that make me dumber? Fine, if that's what you want to say. I don't have the patience. Yeah. For theoretical stuff. Yeah. I could not do physics. I actually was a physics. When I was a kid, all my reports were on black holes. And that's all I did was study physics and read about it all the time. And I got, fantastic grades in math my whole life because I really loved it. And then I swore to God I was going to be a physicist when I grew up. And then I took Physics 101. They call that the filter course for a reason. And that was not my calling. It was not my calling. I tried my hardest and I just could not do it. I was acing my calc classes. And I was acing my computer science classes. I was acing my 5-credit-hour Russian course, the hardest one in the whole university. And I was keeping my scholarship, and I realized I was better with languages. There are things you can't learn from books, but if someone show you how to do it, you don't need theory. And I agree. Yeah, does that make the people who are into theory and able to comprehend it, less important? No. It's just a different way of learning. Classical mechanics, yeah. For physics, it is. I mean, the thing that drove me crazy is I had to come up with mental models in order to understand the basically, if you don't like story problems in school, yeah, you're not going to do well in physics because it's all story problems. It's like, if I take this and this and this, what do I need to do this? And you have to really think through all the pieces together, as opposed to putting them together and seeing what it does, which is what I do. It's like, and by the way, that's how nature learns. And I'm gonna put a plug in for practical learning. Okay, I cannot remember if I could find it. I wish I could find it. I should probably do a video just on this. So, oh God, where did I read it? It was so good. So there's this camshaft for this machinist in his factory. There's this really, really complex camshaft that had been created over like decades that was a core critical component of this mechanical assembly plant someplace in northern America. Someplace was the upper part of America. I think it was Minneapolis, I want to say. And this cam broke, and so all production at this company died, and there was like lots of money being lost and everything. And they brought in all of these theoreticists and these brilliant mathematicians, and none of them they could computer simulate it, they could do everything, but they couldn't replace this camshaft. And so ultimately they brought in some hands-on people, some sort of in the mechanical world, and they fixed it. They fixed it. And the way they fixed it was they started with the best mathematical CAM that they could get, and they went in and they tweaked it. And then they went in and they tweaked it some more. And then they went in and tweaked it some more. And then they went in and tweaked it some more. And as soon as, and that's test-driven development, people. That's test-driven development. They went in and they tweaked it and tweaked it. And pretty soon they had a CAM that they could, none of the high-end mathematicians could predict would work. And it worked perfectly. And that's engineering, right? That's called engineering. It's like finding a thing that works and trying it out and going forward and iterating. And I love that story. I got to find it because it's like, it is, you don't need to feel bad if you are an engineer who arrives at success through multiple individual failures. You know why? Because that's how nature fucking does it. That's what nature does. Nature's like, okay, well, this didn't work. That line died out. This line is going to do this now. Darwinism 101. Yeah. It's engineering by Darwinism. It's like, yeah, it has to be just good enough, right? And then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing. So iterating, if you can learn how to approach all of your problem solving tasks, which is what you're getting paid to do if you're, in tech, then, you find the thing that gets you to the next level. And, we never have all the answers for anything. There's no theory for everything. They're trying to, but, so it's like iterating, finding the next best thing, and then taking it from there. And I love that because that proves that the people who are like, hands-on, practical people are actually the people that are getting shit done. They're, they're actually making society move forward. They're pushing us forward. And it's not the people holed up in front of their chalkboards thinking of what the perfect solution is. You need people to do that. You need people to imagine, but you need people to really get out and get their hands dirty and try shit out before you really know something. And that is the basis of scientific method. And so you can't, theorizing is fine, but yeah, you don't get paid. Yeah. But you don't design by not rebuilding those that fell apart for millennia. That's probably, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is me kind of just pepping myself up. I'm going to have to go here. I have to get ready for my next course coming up, but I have some mentor sessions coming up today. Which do I for notes? I use something called Easy Mark Greg. Yeah. And I have a thing on that. So, yeah, if you use the basic version of fuck around, find out, write it down. Yeah. I love it. So why does that approach seem to be sort of I use Pandoc Markdown, me too, but there's a lot of Pandoc Markdown, right? So let me just offer some guidance there. If you go to that URL, we'll have a breakdown of it. And so I use basic. You can use the full power of Pandoc if you want, but I start with basic. And this is kind of outlined here, and I talk all about it, about why I chose to use that and everything. The reason I got into PEGN is because I want to actually make a markdown parser that's better than anything that lives out there right now. Pandoc is the best we have, but it's inferior in several fronts that I can explain at some point after I finish PEGN. So I'm going to wrap this video up, and I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through this fix. What I'm going to do next, in case you're wondering, stay tuned for the next episode. And in the next episode, I will be writing some conversion functions that take things like this and convert them into code that can actually be generated, that can actually be read by, like, this is a string, so it needs to have some quotes put around it. So I'm going to make these little converter functions that are based on type, and then I can detect those types and do a conversion as I go. And so yeah, if anybody has any questions, I do have a Discord channel. We welcome you in there. I am on YouTube if you want to go back and watch stuff, or you have people that don't have Twitch. And yeah, none of them being EG Math. Yes. Pandoc Markdown is the only Markdown that does mathematic notation. And that is why I believe it is the fundamental language of knowledge, period. I don't, it is the language of knowledge. There's just no doubt about it. So that's one of the reasons I want to support it. I do think it's a little bit wasteful. Um, it supports some of the old ideas from the old Markdown, which require you to do 2 passes to get a full parse. Not Rob Mark, Easy Mark. Easy Mark will be 1 pass. It'll be basically Common Mark with support for tables and with support for math, and that'll be it. And it's not going to throw out the $sign. I fucking hate that. It's one of the biggest annoyances with Pandoc. I write in it every day, all day. So that's why. Well, at least I used to. So, all right, I'm gonna call it a day. But yeah, next episode will be a little bit more conversion going on, and we're gonna get to the point where we can actually generate an entire parser from scratch. I mark my words. I think it is. I think it's upon us. I think HTML was a mistake, and I think Markdown was, again, something invented by practical writers who say, I am fucking writing all those angle brackets. I need something that's practical. And so they made Markdown. You know, practical engineers and people, that's where the stuff that sticks comes from. And you have to have the theory to get to the ideas behind it. But so that's kind of been the theme for today after I got my little bug fixed. But it's time for me to shut up. All right, talk to you later.